All right. So today we're talking to Sharon Cawley. Sharon, how are you doing today?
Oh, very well, thank you.
Excellent. So Sharon, you run Connexus Tuition. Can you tell us quickly what do you offer? What do you sell?
Okay, so I originally founded a tuition company in the northwest of England in 2013. Such was the success that by 2017, I franchised the business model, and now I have 21 Connexus Tuitions across the UK.
Okay. And so what is it that you actually sell? You sell a
model. Oh, right. So our core business model is we do after school tuition in English, maths and science.
Okay.
We do it in groups, in venues located close to the schools. We also now, as a result of COVID-19, have been able to pivot the business model, and we have a huge online presence as well. So it would be a tutor with 4 or 5 children in a group doing exam-focused tuition.
Cool. Okay. So, and who is your buyer? Who is the person who's buying from you?
So, depending on which business you're talking about, which is the tuition business, we would have parents. I think in particular, when you and I spoke and we first started communicating, we've talked about my franchising business.
Correct.
So my buyer would be one of 3 people. They would either be an existing teacher looking to leave the classroom. They would be a business person looking for diversification, a multiple income stream, or they would be an existing tutor looking to scale their existing tuition business, all of which reach out to me to buy one of my franchises, which is the business in a box to do exactly that.
Got it. Perfect. Understood. Who of these 3 tends to be the most successful and most commonly coming to you?
Teachers.
Teachers. Okay. So teachers who want to, is it mainly that they see an opportunity to make more money, or is it,
they want to leave the classroom?
They want to leave the classroom. Okay.
My franchisees in the main instance have either just left teaching or are currently teaching and are incredibly disgruntled, dissatisfied with the current education system, and are looking for a way in which they can still maintain education, keep teaching, keep working with children, but not within the constraints of an establishment such as a school.
Got it. Perfect. So when we spoke, you told me that your main source of new clients was your content. I don't know if all of your source of new clients is content. Tell us, where do you come, if you like?
So where our original discussion took place, we engaged in a thread on LinkedIn about direct messaging. And I said, as somebody who would potentially buy, and also as somebody who sells, would never, ever dream of direct messaging anybody on LinkedIn or on Facebook or any social media platform. And you entered into a discussion and said, well, then what about your sales and that kind of thing? So in the first instance, I would never, ever approach anybody and start to, it's like a door-to-door salesperson. Never knock on the door and start to sell. What I do is I make it very, very clear that one of the ways in which people buy is through resonation. So I make sure the content that I put out across my social media platforms resonate with that very person I spoke to you about. So if I'm talking of a teacher who's looking to leave the classroom, who is incredibly disgruntled, incredibly unhappy, I start to think about what that teacher would want from me. What kind of content can I put out there that they would resonate with and they would suddenly, as a result, become incredibly attracted to? So, for example, I would put content out about freedom. I would put content out about setting your own timetable, being able to pick your own children up from school, not having to attend parents' evenings. I would put content out that really spoke to the pain points of the person that I was trying to reach. What I also do is I then have a very big presence on Facebook. So I have a Facebook group that's got 6,500 members in, all of whom are teachers looking to leave the classroom. So the content and the presence that I have on social media is such that I speak directly to the very person I want to do business, talking about language, talking about their pains, and more than anything, talking about the solutions that I can offer those.
Okay. Do you recall a post anything in particular, or like a type of post that if you put that out, this gets you particularly, like gets you a spike of inbound?
There's a variety of different content I put out. So first and foremost, I like to put out social proof. I like to put out the stories of the franchisees that are doing exactly what that teacher could do. So it might be through the words of a franchisee. I was nervous in the first instance about buying a franchise, but so they will get social proof from like-minded people. The next thing they will get is they will get know, like, and trust. They will get content about me as an individual and what I'm doing. The next kind of thing that I like to put out is brand education. I like to put out content that really explains the process. So it would be know, like, and trust, social proof. I might put out some brand education about the process of coming on board. I'm incredibly overt with my prices as well. I've always made my prices writ large. It's my pinned post on my Facebook page. It's the first thing they will receive in a prospectus. I never hide my prices. To buy a franchise, it's £12,000. If that frightens you, don't waste my time in a conversation. You know, what's the point in doing that?
Yeah.
So I will do a variety of different content. Social proof, know, like, and trust. It will be a campaign. So one of the campaigns that I'm going to start doing at the moment is 2021, control what you can control. Everything's up in the air at the moment. Whether your school's been sent home in a bubble, or whether you're expected to do an online mock exam, or whatever, what can you control? Well, you can control buying your own business. You can control being your own boss. So that content will start to seep through. What I then might put out, this is one piece of content that, so it's never just one post, because people start to follow you. And you can see a pattern of lurkers. They'll like your post. They'll comment on your post. And they'll lurk behind what you do. Now, if you're very clear on who you want to attract, and you stick with your values. So I sold a franchise based solely on a post that, not solely, she'd followed me for a while. And my post was just a quote that I designed on a piece of Canva. And it said, society grows great when old men plant trees, the shades in which they know they will never sit. Okay. On the back of that, Leslie Beach, who bought Connexus Tuition Scarborough, just messaged me and went, talk to me now about your franchises. Okay.
Like the last drop in the bucket that gets.
Absolutely. At no point would I ever, and I knew she'd started to like my posts. Her, on LinkedIn, it was Leslie Ann Beach, teacher on furlough. I knew she was my ideal client. I would never, ever have then gone, should I message her and sell? Absolutely not. She needed to come to me.
Okay.
And I get, on average, bearing in mind the price point's £12,000, so far in the last 48 hours, 4 people have booked in for a discovery call with me, who I have never, ever messaged or contacted.
Wow. So you're making 24 grand a day. That's
No. 4 people in the last 3 days have booked in with a discovery call.
Discovery call. Got it. Okay.
Now, of that, I might only sell 1.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. But with regard to leads that are coming in, what I then do is I go through my LinkedIn profile, and I know I want to connect with teachers. So I simply connect with 25 of them every day on LinkedIn. And I make sure my following is exactly where it should be. So I am connecting every single day to my ideal client. I am then putting content out there that's speaking to my ideal client. I am then overt with my prices and how they can contact me, because my call to action is always my booking link. Book a call with Sharon Cawley. And that's how I do it. And I just consistently pull that content out.
Great.
Never message.
how do you, last question for me, how do you use LinkedIn versus Facebook? You mentioned this very large Facebook group you have. What do you offer them that you don't offer already to your followers? And how do you balance these two platforms?
Facebook and LinkedIn are very, very different. I always feel as though LinkedIn is where you can almost take the expression, all bets are off. LinkedIn, you can sell. Look at me, I'm selling, look at my products. On Facebook, it's different. On Facebook, I will offer a great deal more value to my following on Facebook. So for example, I would help them set up a business page as a tutor. I would walk them through how to do a good business plan, because I will help and support people who are looking towards setting up as their own tutors. I will advise you. I'm a softer sell on Facebook. LinkedIn, I'm very, very much more focused on the selling that I do. However, what's important where social media is concerned is not to see things in isolation. Because if anybody is genuinely interested in buying a franchise from me, they will start to stalk me. They will look at what my website looks like. They will look at my presence on Twitter. They will look at me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Google My Business. They will look across all touch points. If there is consistency, and if the visualization is relevant and regular, so there's not a Facebook page sat there that's not been posted on since 2017, what they then start to do is confirm. They want me to be right for them. They want what I'm offering to be. So they start to almost find fault. And they don't, because across every single platform, there is consistency. And that's how I sell my product. And also, I am bloody good at what I do. That is the authenticity. There's nobody who'll beat me as a franchisor in education. The package that we offer is phenomenal because I've got the social proof singing away with the franchisees. So that's basically how I approach my social media marketing.
Excellent. Very impressive. Thank you so very much for sharing all.
Can you see why I jumped on the thread when you were like, well, why wouldn't you direct message somebody? Because it's not the done thing. Because when I use LinkedIn to buy, guess what I do, Michael? I follow somebody. I start to look at their content. I then maybe venture off LinkedIn and go and see what their website says. So I buy how I sell.
Good. Excellent. Each to their own. I do believe that you may be able to further increase your sales if you did some conversations, because look, you and I are now on having a conversation. We're not having a sales conversation, but we still have built a form of a relationship because I started the conversation. And who knows what this may turn into way further down the line. So
I believe in networking and connections.
Absolutely.
Making networking connections is no problem at all. And I think you can do that within the threads on LinkedIn. I don't think you have to do it through direct messaging. For example, you direct messaged me with regard to a comment I made on the thread. Had you have direct messaged me without that engagement first, I wouldn't have responded.
Good. Okay. I just think that especially for somebody who does not yet have a large following, like yourself, especially on Facebook, that the kind of like a soft approach where you just start a conversation about something else, you don't sell, you don't.
If your following is your ideal client, you only need 30 or 40 on LinkedIn.
Okay.
It's when you've got a large following that's saturated with people who never buy from you. Your following, it's never about the numbers. Your following is about the quality of who's following you. So if on LinkedIn, if you remember what I said was, every day I add 20 of my ideal clients, my following is pure.
Right? So would you recommend people to disconnect from others who are not in the target? Okay. I always recommend against that because you never know what people may turn into. I've had several referrals from people.
However, that's a big variable, that somebody sees your content who's not potentially going to buy off you and then remembers you and recommends you. What I would prefer to do on LinkedIn is this. I would prefer to know that a post that I post on LinkedIn is only ever really shown to about 10% of my following, right? So if that's going to be opened up to 10% of my following, if engagement starts to happen and traction, they open it up to more, obviously. I want to make sure if I'm putting content out, that it's at least going to reach people who want to buy from me, rather than the 10% goes over to Russia, where nobody's even interested in what I've got. It's different strokes. But what I will say is this: I've got a relatively high ticket product. I have got people who want to buy from me who are incredibly risk averse. And so far, through resonation and attraction marketing, in a very, very subtle way, but consistent way, that's how I'm getting my leads.
Excellent. I love it. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. We've gone way over the 10 minutes, but I'm sure our audience will love what they hear. How can people contact you? Where do you prefer them to connect with you? Facebook, LinkedIn, anywhere?
Facebook or LinkedIn. It's Connects Us Tuition all over Facebook, and it's Sharon Cawley on LinkedIn.
Excellent. Thanks so very much, Sharon. Really appreciate it.